I still remember that afternoon like it was yesterday. I thought I was just stopping by to surprise my girlfriend, Olivia. I expected her bright smile, her playful teasing, maybe a quick movie or dinner. But the moment the door opened, I realized nothing would be the same again. It wasn't Olivia. It was Catherine Thompson, her mother. At 45, she looked effortlessly stunning. Blonde hair brushing her shoulders, a cream silk robe clinging in all the right places, and piercing blue eyes that seemed to see everything. She didn't smile. She didn't laugh. She just said, "Ethan, Olivia isn't home, but I'm glad you came. We need to talk." Her words hit me like a thunderclap. That tone, that look, something was very wrong. I stepped inside, trying to keep my voice steady. "Is everything okay? Did something happen to Olivia?" Catherine gestured to the living room, her expression unreadable. "Please, have a seat." I sank onto the leather sofa, and she took the armchair across from me. The house was immaculate, quiet except for a faint hum of the air conditioning and soft music playing somewhere far away. But the tension in the air was sharp, almost electric. "I need to tell you the truth about Olivia," she began, taking a slow, deliberate breath. "I know you think you know her, but there are things she hasn't told you, things that could change everything." My stomach tightened. "What do you mean?" Catherine's voice dropped, serious. 3 weeks ago, I came home unexpectedly. I thought the house would be empty, but I heard voices. Olivia's voice, and a man's voice I recognized. Tyler, her ex-boyfriend from college. I felt like the floor had dropped out from under me. She's cheating on me? "I didn't want you to find out this way," Catherine said, her blue eyes softening, but firm. "I love my daughter, but I couldn't let her lie to you anymore. She's made mistakes, Ethan, and I can't watch you get hurt." I stood up, pacing. I don't even know what to say. "This changes everything." Catherine's gaze softened further, but there was something else now. Something I hadn't expected. "Ethan, there's more. I've been watching you too these past 8 months, seeing the way you care for Olivia, how genuine, loyal, and kind you are. And it made me realize I have feelings for you that I shouldn't have." I froze. You have feelings for me?" "Yes," she admitted quietly. "I know how complicated this is, and how wrong it feels, but I can't ignore it anymore. You deserve someone honest, someone who values you. Olivia isn't that person right now." My mind spun. Her confession, Olivia's lies, Tyler's presence, it was all overwhelming. And yet, amidst the shock, there was clarity. Catherine wasn't just revealing secrets about Olivia. She was showing me a truth I hadn't expected. I leaned back, heart pounding, trying to figure out what to do, how to feel, and what this revelation meant for the future I thought I'd had with Olivia. I sat there for what felt like hours, Catherine's words echoing in my mind. The house was quiet, but my thoughts were chaotic. Olivia, the woman I thought I knew, the woman I had imagined a future with, had been hiding pieces of her life from me. And yet, here was her mother, standing in the doorway of my world, revealing a truth I couldn't ignore. "Ethan," Catherine said softly, reaching out to touch my hand. Her skin was warm, and the gentle pressure sent a jolt through me. "I know this is a lot to process, and I don't expect you to decide anything now, but you deserve to know the full truth about Olivia, and about me." I looked into her eyes, blue and deep, and I realized something. I trusted her, more than I had trusted Olivia in months. "Catherine, I don't even know where to start," I whispered. This is insane. She's my girlfriend. You're her mother. I can't even process what you just said about us." She smiled faintly, a mixture of sadness and hope. I know it's complicated, but Ethan, you've always been honest with me, with Olivia, with yourself. You deserve someone who mirrors that honesty. That's why I told you." Her words hit me hard. I remembered the countless times I had supported Olivia, cared for her, believed in her. And now, the foundation I had built with her felt like it was crumbling beneath me. But in the midst of that chaos, Catherine's presence was grounding. We sat in silence for several minutes, the kind of silence that speaks louder than words. Finally, I spoke. "I need to confront Olivia. I need answers." "You will," Catherine said, her voice gentle. "But be prepared. She will deny everything at first. She's very good at making people believe what she wants them to believe." The day stretched on, and I drove home with my mind racing. Olivia arrived later that evening, exhausted from her shift at the hospital. I tried to act casual, but the tension was thick in the air. I waited until we were alone in the living room before I spoke. "Olivia, we need to talk," I began, my voice steady but firm. She looked at me weary. "About what?" "I know about Tyler," I said bluntly. "I know you've been seeing him while we've been together." Her eyes widened, and for a moment, she seemed stunned. Then she laughed nervously. "Ethan, You're imagining things. That's not true. I took a deep breath, forcing myself to stay calm. I'm not imagining anything. I know about the calls, the meetings, the lies. You've been hiding him from me. She sank into the sofa, her hands trembling. I didn't mean for this to happen. I felt something missing. I didn't want to hurt you. But you did, I said quietly, the pain in my voice undeniable. You hurt me, Olivia. And not just me. You hurt your own mother too. Catherine told me everything. I know about the times you thought no one was watching. I know the truth. Her tears flowed freely, and I felt a pang of sorrow for the woman I once loved. But that sorrow was fleeting, replaced by a sense of clarity. I couldn't go back to trusting her, not now. The next days were a blur of confrontation, heartbreak, and decisions. Olivia tried to explain, to justify, to plead. But her words were empty, hollow echoes of the promises she had broken. And through it all, Catherine was there. Not as her daughter's mother anymore, but as someone who had risked everything to protect me from deception. Weeks later, I found myself back at the Thompson house, not to reconcile with Olivia, but to understand Catherine, to explore the feelings that had surfaced in the midst of betrayal. She greeted me warmly, this time fully dressed in a summer dress that complemented her figure perfectly. There was no silk robe, no ambiguity, just Catherine, the woman who had shown me honesty when I needed it most. We sat on the back patio, the desert sun dipping low, casting golden light across the pool. We talked for hours about life, about mistakes, about love, about how sometimes the most unexpected truths lead to the most genuine connections. I never expected this, I said finally, breaking the comfortable silence. I never imagined us. Neither did I, she admitted, reaching out to touch my hand. Her warmth was a comfort, a grounding force amidst the whirlwind of emotions that had consumed the past weeks. But sometimes life doesn't give us what we expect. It gives us what we need. I looked into her eyes, into the depths of honesty, care, and vulnerability. And for the first time in months, I felt clarity. Olivia had made her choices. Tyler had been a chapter in her past. But Catherine, she was here now, offering a love built on truth, not deceit. That evening, as the sun set behind the mountains, casting long shadows across the patio, I realized something profound. Sometimes the people we least expect to change our lives are the ones who do. Sometimes the truths we fear the most are the ones that set us free. And as Catherine and I sat together, hand in hand, I knew that whatever judgment the world might cast, whatever complications awaited us, we had something real, something honest, something worth fighting for. The weeks that followed felt surreal. I tried returning to normal life, but nothing felt normal anymore. Every familiar street, every cafe we had once visited with Olivia, now echoed with memories I couldn't reclaim. I avoided my phone whenever her name popped up on the screen, but Catherine's messages, simple check-ins, kind words, subtle care, kept me tethered to reality. One Friday afternoon, Catherine invited me to her home again. I want you to see the garden, she said. It's something I've been working on. I was hesitant, not sure what this would mean, but the truth was, I wanted to go. I needed the stability, the honesty she represented. Her home was alive with color, roses climbing trellises, lavender swaying in the breeze, and the pool reflecting the soft sunlight. She had always had an impeccable eye for design, but now I saw the warmth she poured into every corner, the love she invested into even the smallest details. Look at this, she said, kneeling to tend a small patch of daisies. Sometimes I think people forget that beauty isn't just in big gestures. It's in consistency, care, and attention. I watched her, feeling an overwhelming mix of admiration and longing, the grace with which she moved, the serenity on her face. Yet her eyes hinted at the vulnerability she had shared with me before. It was intoxicating. I don't know how this is supposed to work, I admitted. You're Catherine. She's your daughter, and I'm her ex-boyfriend. Or at least I was trying to be. She looked at me, her expression calm but resolute. Life isn't about how it's supposed to work, Ethan. It's about what is. The honesty you need. The connection that feels real. That's what matters. Sometimes the world doesn't understand it, and sometimes it judges. But we have to live for ourselves, not for their opinions. Her words hit me like a revelation. I had spent so much energy worrying about propriety, appearances, and obligations that I hadn't stopped to consider my own happiness. And now, for the first time in months, I allowed myself to imagine a future that didn't include deception or lies, only truth and connection. Days turned into weeks, and our bond grew quietly, but steadily. Every conversation revealed another layer of trust, vulnerability, and mutual respect. We would spend hours on the patio, sharing our life stories, her triumphs, regrets, dreams, and fears. Mine, similarly, with an honesty I had never allowed myself before. The connection was undeniable, electric even, but it was also grounded in something I had rarely experienced: unwavering sincerity. Of course, the shadow of Olivia lingered. I occasionally wondered if we would ever cross paths, if she would confront us, or if Catherine would feel guilty. But every time I saw her, every time she held my hand or smiled in a way that made my chest tighten, those fears seemed to fade. Catherine's presence was healing. She reminded me of what it meant to be seen, truly seen, and valued. Then came the first test. Olivia appeared at my apartment unexpectedly one Saturday morning, tears streaming down her face, as if the universe expected me to revert to my old attachments. "Ethan, please. I was wrong. Tyler meant nothing. I love you. We can fix this." I looked at her, the betrayal still raw beneath my skin, but now tempered by clarity. "Olivia, what you gave me was lies. What Catherine has given me is honesty. And right now, honesty is everything." Her pleas fell on deaf ears. Not out of cruelty, but out of the realization that some doors, once closed, cannot be reopened. I had witnessed the courage it took for Catherine to reveal truths, the risk she took for me, and I couldn't turn my back on that integrity. Weeks later, we began spending more time together in public, subtly but undeniably a couple. The glances, the gentle touches, the quiet laughter we shared. People noticed, some whispered, some judged, but we ignored them. Our relationship was private, sacred, and built on a foundation far stronger than anything I had experienced before. I remember one evening vividly. The sun was dipping behind the Scottsdale skyline, casting long orange shadows across her backyard. Catherine had prepared iced tea, and we sat side by side on the patio, her hand finding mine naturally. "Do you ever regret telling me the truth?" I asked. "Never," she said immediately. "Watching Olivia hurt you would have been worse than any judgment or complication." "And us?" I asked. "Being together like this, despite everything?" Her blue eyes met mine, unwavering and honest. "Ethan, you're the best thing that's happened to me in years. You make me feel alive, valued, and seen. Why would I regret that?" The desert breeze carried the scent of blooming flowers and the distant hum of traffic. In that moment, all the chaos, all the lies, all the betrayal seemed distant, almost irrelevant. What remained was truth, connection, and the kind of love that emerges from the most unexpected circumstances. Months passed. Olivia moved on. Tyler disappeared again from the picture, and life settled into an unusual but comfortable rhythm. We learned to navigate the age difference, the judgment from neighbors, and the lingering complications of the past. But our bond only grew stronger. We became partners not out of convenience or impulse or rebellion, but because of honesty, courage, and mutual respect. The journey wasn't simple. There were moments of doubt, moments when the world's judgment weighed heavily. Yet every time I looked at Catherine, every time I felt the warmth of her hand in mine, I knew that the risk had been worth it. The truth had liberated us both. I often think about that first knock on the door, the moment that changed everything. I thought I was walking into a simple, ordinary day. Instead, I encountered the extraordinary, the courage to reveal a painful truth, the strength to protect me from deception, and the unexpected emergence of love where I least expected it. Sometimes, the most complicated situations lead to the most beautiful relationships. And ours, Catherine's and mine, was proof. The woman who had once been a mother, a protector, and a confidant became my partner, my companion, and the one who taught me that love, honesty, and courage are worth more than comfort, appearances, or convenience. We still face judgment occasionally, whispers, curious glances, and social scrutiny. But none of that matters, because what Catherine and I share is real. It is authentic. It is forged from truth, not lies. And in a world where deception often masquerades as affection, we have found something rare, a love that is unbreakable, resilient, and honest. And as the desert sun sets, casting a warm glow across our backyard, I can't help but smile. The journey was unexpected, painful, and messy, but it led me to Catherine. And that, more than anything else, makes every difficult moment worth it.